Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 8 of Hey, That's Easy. I'm your host, Lawton Luntz. This episode features artists, entrepreneurs, and an inspiring story about a 10-year-old who reads to kids online via his podcast. Joining me is my co-host, Ava. Welcome.
Hey there.
Here
Hi,
we are
Lawton.
again. How's it going? Great to see you.
It's good to see you. It looks like you got some sun.
Hey, that's what happens. You go on vacation and
I can't wait to hear about your
trip.
trip. Disney World, right? I'm super pumped to hear about that. But yes, tonight is just another amazing lineup. I can't wait to meet Josiah and Kimberly. Oh my goodness, Denisha and Sherry. So yes, these are some inspiring people tonight.
Once again, a diverse guest list doing amazing things. So definitely coming up on the episode, an artist, like you mentioned, and a special guest to talk about money elevation. Mm-hmm. But first, an inventor. Let's welcome Sherry Hammond to Hey, That's Easy.
Hi there.
Well, Sherry, hello.
Sherry, we have to begin with the start of your journey inventing these solutions that help the world become a little more organized and level. Where did you initially draw your inspiration from?
So I'm a single mom and I'm vertically challenged. I'm 5'3.5", stretching it a little bit. And so my products are basically came about because I needed things to make my life easier. For instance, we have a spice rack organizer or a spice organizer, and it fits in your kitchen cabinets. And I was always dumping spices onto my feet off the counter. And then the other product we have is called Go Hang It. It's a picture hanging and leveling tool. And I was hanging this collage for my son. By the time I ended up, I had like 50 holes in my wall. And I was like, there has to be a better way. So I teamed up with my dad and here we are.
Excellent. Yeah, now, and you see some of our viewers can see some of the videos there. Picture hanging made easy. I know there's so many times when I'm hanging artwork in the house or whatever it is, I'm trying to get it just right, or at least make it look level in the house. What if some of your customers actually that have purchased these items, what has been some of their feedback?
Oh gosh, I often hear, how couples fight when they're doing these projects at home, these DIY projects at home. And so one of my things that I love to say is that we're saving relationships one picture hanging project at a time.
I love that. Oh my goodness. So yes, what were some of I've always dreamed of inventing something. I think a lot of people do. You kind of, the shower thoughts, right? But what were some of the biggest obstacles getting something like this to production? I mean, was it a big daunting process? I know you had your father and you guys, originally, did it together. But yeah, what would you say is the biggest obstacles getting that to production? It's the hardest part.
I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. My father is a retired IBM inventor. He has over 150 patents, and I have 4. So he's always been tinkering, and he's kind of taught me product development and since I was 8 years old. And we have these established relationships with these manufacturers and stuff. So for us, or for me, from start to finish, I would say that we had some advantages having those relationships in place. But, really, you just have to, once you get a thought, you have to prototype it. You have to get it in your hands, play with it, figure out how it works. And we usually do 4 to 5 rounds of prototypes before moving on into production. We want to make sure that we get it right.
How cool is that?
Eva, I can only imagine this would be a perfect product for you because I know you're a big art fan. You have a ton of things on the wall over there at your home.
Actually, I grew up with an artist. My mother's an artist, and she had a whole process to hanging something. But I knew that the everyday person can't do that. She went, above and beyond. So, and then I saw the cabinet caddy, and oh my goodness, everyone has a junk drawer. So, yes, what problems would you say that your 2 inventions solve, really, as far as the cabinet caddy goes? And
so with the cabinet caddy, the problem it solves is it helps you find those smaller items in your kitchen cabinets that you lose back in the corners and stuff like that. How many times have you gone to the store around Thanksgiving or the holidays to get that cinnamon or nutmeg that you have in your cabinet, but you just can't find it? So with the cabinet caddy, it creates a place that this lives, and it's a pull and rotate organizer. And to find out more about that or see the videos, you can go to cabinetcaddy.com. And so that's for spices. And for the Go Hang It, which you see there, the Go Hang It, it hangs and levels pictures with zero measuring required. What it does is it identifies accurately where those nails and all your picture hanging hardware needs to go. And those are on the back of the frame, so you can't readily see them. So with our system, it identifies those nail markings, and then you just hang and level your picture. It has a built-in level, and you're good to go.
I would love to see a demonstration of that. So I think everyone should check that out. My goodness. So what advice would you have for someone who has an invention, besides the shower thoughts? What advice? Is it something that they should, start in a certain area, check patents? What's your advice to a future entrepreneurial inventor?
So one of the things that an invention must have, it must have a wow factor, and it must have a large target market. You don't want to invent something for such a small little niche that, 25 people or 2,500 people can use. You want to go out there and see what's in the marketplace, buy it all, use it, figure out what works, what doesn't work, what you can do to improve that process, how you can make yours better. And that way it can be patentable. And then, of course, you have to do your IP, your patents, your trademarks, your copyright. Make sure that you're protected, and don't ever give up. That's the key. Don't ever give up. If you have something and a bunch of people need it, then just keep on trucking and make it happen.
Sherry, one of our viewers had a question about the patent process and the time that it takes to really get it in motion. Obviously, you're between you and your father, there's 154 opportunities that you've achieved. So tell us about the time frame and how long that it takes to get things rolling.
So the USPTO is a plethora of knowledge. I would say I would start with your provisional patent first and your design patent. Those two are relatively easy and relatively quick to get in and get going. The utility patent, which is much more detailed about how things function, the design patent is how things look, right? Nobody can copy that design. The provisional patent just kind of gets you in the system and provides some protection while you're getting your utility patent done. And so that's what I would recommend. The design patent takes about a year to go through. The provisional patent is pretty instantaneous, kind of gets you in the system, like I said. The utility patent can take anywhere between 2 to 7 years. It's especially if there's any back and forth. A lot of times they'll say, well, this claim is not, you have to go and prove that claim and go back and forth with the USPTO. So that utility patent can be quite a long process.
But if you love it,
not for the faint of heart, I was going to say.
Yeah. I feel like that if it takes 2 to 7 years, but it's something that you're passionate about and that it'll be helpful to those that are buyers, I think that the time factor is obviously we're all impatient these days, right? But if it takes time, it will come to fruition.
Well, and I would say don't try to do it yourself. You need to hire somebody to kind of help you through that patent process because it's a bear.
Well, Sherry, we appreciate you coming on for a few minutes tonight to talk about your product. We'd like to let all of our viewers know that you can subscribe to our YouTube page, Inspired PDG. You can also find more information at inspiredpdg.com and www.gohangit.com. Sherry's everywhere. She's on Facebook. You can like her Go Hang It page. Great stuff. And I checked out the product. I think it's really cool. Like I said, I would be helped out a lot. It would organize I have the same spice problem. I feel like one falls out of the cupboard every time I go to get one. So
it's inspiring. Yes. I'd love to see a woman inventor doing amazing things. And yes, it's inspirational. Thank you so much. Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Sherry. Honestly, when I was looking at that online, because I was doing a little research, I was like, this would be so helpful because I almost started laughing when she said that. It was, oh my God, I think the other day when I was cooking, I'm pretty sure I caught some garlic that fell out of the cupboard.
Isn't that the truth though? It's like organizing, whether it's your clothes, like we had the wardrobe consultant, or your kitchen, you end up buying things over and over again. You just don't need because you don't know you already have it.
Our clothing guest from a month ago, I tell you, she'd be proud of me. I was able to use some of her advice, and
you look amazing tonight, Lon. That's awesome.
We had to say goodbye to a few pieces of clothing, so it was good. It was good stuff.
Awesome.
Well, if you thought Sherry was great, our next guest has a decorated resume with over 50 years as a professional artist. She was at one time the CEO and president of the Charles Wright Museum in my city, Detroit, and is currently on the faculty of Drexel University's Arts Administration program. More importantly, her work as an artist and administrator puts her ideas about the role art plays in democracy, social equity, and diversity into practice. It is our pleasure at Hey That's Easy to introduce Kimberly Camp. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. How are you?
How was that intro? Not too bad?
Yeah, that works.
All right, that works. I'll take it.
Well, I was fascinated by your resume, he said.
Yeah. I was reading your bio on your website on gallerymarie.net, and I didn't even know where to start, but I thought it was pretty cool that there was a connection for Ava, who's in like the Philly, New Jersey area, and then I'm still in Michigan, so I thought it was cool that you were part of Charles Wright for a while. And when did this all begin? I mean, you like you said earlier in the pre-show, you've had some time to do some pretty amazing things. When did you know what you really wanted to do?
You know, I'm one of those people that really didn't plan on a let's do this kind of thing. I sort of took opportunity as it presented itself. And a large part of my career has been facilitated by women in different fields, which is always something that I am deeply respectful of. There are people, Elaine Gurian and Cheryl McClenny Brooker and my mother, who just really supported everything that I wanted to do. And so it made my path very easy.
What was your favorite endeavor? I mean, like I said, the list is long. You've done so much with Gallery Marie, the gallery. Is there a time where you were just like, you knew that this is where you needed to be?
I will say that if I would probably still be working in the museum field right now, had I not seen so many of my colleagues meet their demise before they hit 65. Museums are not supposed to kill you. But I loved that work because it's so important to recognize the power that art and culture have. People believe museums more than they believe teachers, more than they believe books. And so they're very powerful influences in how we edify each other, how we place ourselves in the history of the world. And so those kind of things also inspired my work as a visual artist. Truth be told, I did not plan on having a gallery. It was something that, you know, as they say, the ancestors put things in your path for you to discover. I intended on having my studio here and periodically waving at passersby and opening up once a month for a glass of wine and interesting conversation. And the local government was like, open active retail. So I named the gallery for my mother. She always wanted me to have a gallery, and I told her I wasn't going to do it because it was way too much work. And here I am.
Well, some of the artwork is on display. Just was rolling for our viewers to see. We've got all kinds of artwork there. We've got paintings. We have dolls, and Ava is even rocking some of your earrings tonight.
That's right. She has some pretty cool jewelry, and that's one of my favorite shops, hands down, in Collingswood, because you will get to see all these different artists that have this very edgy, modern flair, just cool, the bright colors, the sculptures, you have mobiles. My mother's an artist, so I kind of grew up, you know, appreciating the arts. But I know you are a professor as well at Rutgers and making Camden beautiful. I was very interested in that aspect where you're able to, you know, bring it to the community. Yeah, I mean, I guess what obstacles do you have running a gallery day to day? What's the hardest part of that? Is it getting the artist or finding who to select?
The hardest part is having to do the administrative and maintenance stuff, because those are things that I never had to do myself when I was working in the museum field. I always had staff. So ordering bags and making sure. I went to the bank today. It's like, I need 10 rolls of pennies. Can you please give me pennies? It's those kind of things. The light bulb blows out. Somebody stopped up the toilet. It's those kind of things. That being said, I mean, the reason that I do have the gallery is because I want to show people you can buy things that are made by hand, whatever your price range is. And there are artists out there doing all kinds of wonderful things. It's so rewarding when you're able to talk to the maker about what it is they're doing and why. It gives you a greater appreciation for the things that you have. And so that's one of the reasons. I have almost a little bit over 200 artists in the gallery from everywhere, from Haiti, India, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Ireland, France, you name it. And there's just an amazing world out there of creatives doing fantastic things.
It is. It's inspirational. And I know if you were to give some advice to a young artist, because you've done it, you've got the gallery, you're a professor, you've done stuff for the community. What advice do you have to someone who just loves art, but is afraid to pursue it? I mean, we have to admit that arts went through a tough time, and music.
Actually, it hasn't. Some of the art schools are experiencing surges in enrollment like never before, and so there's probably more young people that are pursuing it, in large part because they believe in the romance. They believe in the romance of it.
I do.
And it's a profession like anything else. I tell people, just because you can brush your teeth doesn't make you a dentist. And so it's really important to be able to engage in your practice, and that means regularly working, mastering your materials, and 90% of it is showing up. If there's an exhibition, show up. If there's an opportunity, show up. Make sure that you can do that. That's the hardest part, because I talked to a young artist recently, and she asked me how I did it, how I had the nerve, the courage to keep doing it. And I looked at her, I said, you got to be nuts. I said, every time I put things out there, I go through this whole period of self-doubt. Is somebody going to like it? Is it any good? Have I been fooling myself for 50 years? And then I put it out there. And it's the juncture, the intersection between that incredible humility and amazing hubris that spurns creativity. And so it's really important. The other thing is that young artists need to be geographically flexible and also understand that art it encompasses a wide range of things. Michelangelo had a casket factory. He had a artists in churches program. He ran an atelier. He did portraits for a living. There are all these kinds of things that we forget that artists engage in. And it's not just one particular medium, one way. So that's what I would say to young artists.
Kimberly, the last question I have for you is there a time what is the greatest compliment you've ever received in your tenure as an artist?
I think that when I had a piece there was a traveling exhibition some years ago put together by the National Afro-American Museum and Cultural Center. And I had done this piece called Twilight, and it sort of made itself. I worked on it for 2 days. The third day I came out and looked at it, and it was like, where did that come from? I took it to work because I wanted to sort of look at it and see what had happened. And the curator for the exhibition happened to walk into my office that day, and she's like, that's it, that's the cover. And so my work was on the cover of that catalog. It traveled to 10 different cities, 10 different venues, including the American Craft Museum, the Smithsonian Renwick. And there hasn't been a show like it since. So I was really honored to have that place in American history. Hopefully someone will do an exhibition like that again.
Well, I will certainly say impressive resume. What you've done to this point is absolutely incredible, and great to see that you're still doing what you love and having the impact that you are. We really appreciate you coming on the show tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, check out her websites and her gallery in Collingswood if you're ever in. Stop in. Great job.
We have KimberlyCamp.com as well if you want to check that out. Great bio, very interesting facts about her journey as an artist. Thanks so much, Kimberly.
Thank you,
You're welcome.
Kimberly.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Thank you. How cool.
Oh, yeah. Amazing.
I love art. I wish I was a better artist.
Yeah, that's my kids all get that from my wife. My wife is actually an art major in college. She went to the Art Institute of Illinois, and yeah, and but it helps. Like I said, she's very creative with marketing, and it certainly she utilizes a lot of what she learned back then now. So kind of like I was a broadcasting major, and somehow I got lucky enough to end up hosting a show with Ava.
And I am not a broadcast journalism major, Lon, so I just wing it every month.
Absolutely.
Eric,
graphic design. Yeah. Yep, that's graphic designer. I 100% agree that taking pride in art is key as well as showing up, and that's 100 for sure. That's awesome. Great comment there. Great.
It's just when you go into her gallery, I mean, you see this inspirational stuff. I think it just inspires you to want to do something artistic with your life. So yes, we need those people out there having those galleries and putting art and music back into the world, which I know we're going to spotlight more of on this show, Lon. So absolutely.
And truth be told, if you're going into a museum or you're going to an art exposition, you definitely need money. And we turn our attention now to that, a consistently important topic, especially for our next guest, financial coach, Denisha Scott.
Right.
Welcome to the show, Denisha.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm so excited to be here with you guys tonight.
Well, let's get right to it and talk about money elevation and how a client of yours achieves success.
Yes, so I work with individuals, I work with higher education institutions, and I also work with communities as well. So with Money Elevation, our mission is to elevate financial literacy through education and empowering individuals. So we're all about not just teaching financial concepts, we're also about changing people's mindsets towards money during the process. Because I don't just want people to have that financial knowledge, I want them to have the right mindset as well. So that's a big part of what I teach is the mindset, having the right money mindset, having the right thoughts and beliefs towards money. So that's a big part of what I talk with clients about.
What is the typical roadmap for a client of yours if you're trying to get them to a certain place? Is it all different, or is there a pattern that you see?
So each individual, I provide custom solutions for everybody because everybody's situation is unique. So I work one-on-one with the individual just to see where they're at, their mindset and everything. So we partner together in the beginning. I talk to the individual about what their goals are, what they're trying to achieve. And then from there, we develop a financial action plan for the person to accomplish their goals. So when I'm there, we have check-ins with each other, monthly check-ins, and the person can also call me or text me or email me. I'm available all the time and ask me any questions that they have. So it's just really partnering with that individual, being their support system, providing them with tools and resources so that they can reach their financial goals and ultimately live the life that they want to live.
I love the accountability piece of that. That's huge. And helping them understand, like, they have to have a roadmap. They have to have a destination they're trying to reach, but
Exactly. And I'm really big on people. I'm really big on legacy and helping people build generational wealth. So I really wanted to come in and really change the statistics landscape because I saw statistically that there were a lot of people that didn't have a lot of savings. People have a lot of debt. I mean, if you look at the student loan debt, we're in a crisis right now with the student loans, over $1 trillion in student debt. So I got the student
loan. I always joke about that because I said I don't want to discourage anybody.
Yeah,
I mean that's something that everyone, and you did mention you work with financial or educational institutes, universities, colleges, things like that, which I thought was really neat. But what would be your best advice to someone, like when you first meet with them? What would you do first to kind of see what they're doing wrong and where to go from there?
Yeah, so in the beginning when you meet, I like to do a very comprehensive review of their finances and just to see where the person just is at mentally. And I just like to work on that. I'm really big on affirmations, really the law of attraction, really speaking things into existence, putting them, because what you put out there is really ultimately what you'll get in return. So you have to really, are you speaking life over yourself? What are you speaking? Because I feel like when you speak those positive affirmations, you're speaking that positivity over yourself. You're putting that out there to the universe, and that's the law of attraction. And you feel a lot better. I know that works with me, and that's the everyday thing with me. I'm really big on just, you're great, you're powerful. I say like you're a world traveler, because I want to travel the world. I want to go all over the world. There's people that haven't, even been out of the country. So I just want to, live my best life, and I just want to elevate people, and I want to help people elevate in every area of their life, as well as I want to elevate in every area of my life as well. So I just, work with people, be their cheerleader, their partner. I'm here with you. I meet people where they are, no judgment at all. So no judgment zone with me. I just want to help people. And I want to take that on people. I've noticed a lot of people are uncomfortable talking about finances. So I really wanted to come in and change that and really normalize money conversations, especially people that have young children, so that they know. Because I remember when I went to college, you see the credit card companies, they're there.
Gas card. Gas card. That was my first credit card. Was
yes,
gas card.
I know. And I just think that is so, it's just so bad, because you're a young college student coming out, you don't even really know, you don't have the tools to really handle that. So it's just really important to give that knowledge to our children so that they're equipped. This is a life skill. Everybody has to deal with money.
That is true. One of our viewers asked about financial, like saving apps and that sort of thing. And if there's maybe any you recommend, or if there's, what to look for in those.
Yeah, so I'm really big on online savings accounts because it's separate from your bank account. So you can link up like a checking account to that savings account. It's separate. They offer higher interest rates as well. So I would say, like, for the person to research online savings accounts, because they offer higher interest rates. I think banks right now, they're giving you like pennies on the dollar in interest. So you're not really getting that much in interest. So with the online savings account, you have a higher interest rate. It's not connected, and it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind, because you're not seeing it. You can set up an automatic, pick a day that you want to set up that transfer and the amount that you want to set up. And you can do that, have it on autopilot, have your savings on autopilot. And that way you don't have to really think about it. You're just doing it automatically.
Yeah, the online banks don't, they're saving a lot of money and able to offer those interest rates. They don't have to pay for the brick and mortar buildings, and payroll and all of those sorts of types of things. So
yes,
I love the mindset, because a lot of, we were talking about the a little bit of the crisis now with student loan debt, and sometimes you can have the same type of debt but have a different mindset about it and say, well, it did cost me 6 figures to go to school, but it was me making an investment in myself.
Exactly.
And
that was the investment. And I'm all for that. That's you made an investment in yourself. So I wouldn't take back some people that are in debt probably right now might, regret it. Like, oh, I probably shouldn't have gone to college though. But I love the college experience that I had. So I love it. I made that investment in myself, and I'm really, glad that I did that.
Well, what I think is so awesome is that she wants to spread the word of learning, financial safety at a young age, because that's where we did mess up. Maybe you changed your major 8 times, right?
Yeah.
You got 500 credits that you don't need. Those are things that we really should have conversations about. So I am so grateful that you're having those conversations and educating people out there, Tanisha. And no one is more positive than you. And I know you just got that new website as well. So I'm so proud of you. Temple graduate. You are an example of what we need more of in this world, which is people spreading the word on great things that are going to help everyone out there.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, these conversations have to continue. So we have to be there with our children, the youth, and I just want to help people live their best life. Just to elevate in every area of their life, because you don't want to get to 80 years old and have regrets, and you didn't really live the life that you wanted to live. So
This
I'm
starts
all
such
for
a begins a great conversation too, not only just about money, but kind of weaves itself back into like your credit and all these other things. You know,
exactly.
and if you have a roadmap for that, you know, that's a great place to start. I would encourage anyone have a conversation with Denisha. Link up with her on LinkedIn. You see the site there. She's also on Facebook, themoneyelevation.com. Denisha Scott, a pleasure. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Our pleasure.
That is so cool. I mean,
I love it. My favorite thing, because there's a lot of money managers and financial planners and whatnot that talk about, they talk about different things in regards to money, but I love the mindset part about what Denisha was saying, because it really doesn't matter how much you have. You can always save a little bit and start somewhere. So
right. No, she's motivational to say the least. I mean, she is just out there spreading the word, and I'm so excited to have entrepreneurs on our show all the time, people who are doing it in real life, making that business happen for themselves. So
without question. And our next guest is really no different. He's just a lot younger. He was recently featured on MLive for his podcast and launching READ. That's an acronym, READ, Read Books with Josiah. Let's welcome Josiah Jason to the show.
Hello.
How are you doing, young man?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. Hey, so for all of our viewers, I'm going to tell a little bit of a story before we get into the questions. So I've known Josiah a long time. His dad, if Keith is next to you and wants to pop in on the screen. So Josiah's dad and I used to work along with our director, Danny, if he wants to hop in.
Hi.
There he is. So this was Josiah's dad. Myself and Danny used to work at the University of Detroit Mercy. Josiah's dad was actually a promotions MC, did PA work. He does PA work now for
man of many hats,
and is just a heck of a guy. And then I knew Josiah. I knew you were starting to do some stuff, and all of a sudden I see this article in MLive about you, and I was like, oh my gosh, we got to get this guy on the show. So what? Obviously, I know who your dad is, and he's very good on the microphone. But what really made you want to do what you're doing with your podcast and read books to children?
Well, what made me want to start my podcast was a few years ago, me and my brother, we did our own podcast together. Okay. And then eventually, for whatever reason, we stopped doing it. But then recently I wanted to start doing that podcast again, but my brother, he wanted to do other things. He didn't want to do that. So I had to think of a podcast that I could do on my own, and then my mom suggested that I do a book review reading podcast because I really love reading.
Well, it's great.
He said a few years ago. I'm going a few years ago. He started a podcast with his brother. He's already.
He's already in, and Josiah's got nice equipment too. For those that are not familiar with some podcast equipment, or that's a nice microphone. You got a nice board there. I see in that picture.
Very nice.
So how much? Let's be honest. How much did your dad help you with this? I mean, how much did he inspire you to want to do this?
Well, he also had his podcast a few years ago that actually pretty much inspired me and my brother to do the podcast that we did a few years ago. And also he already had a lot of the equipment that we needed from doing the podcast that he did. So he helped me a lot with making the podcast. Yeah.
It's great. So if right now, if someone were to ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? What would you say?
I would say, well, I don't know yet, but I know that I do love reading and stories, and I love inspiring people. So we'll see where that takes me.
Well, you are definitely on the right track. I gotta be honest. I was able to go on and listen to some of your stories. You speak very clearly. It was great. And I was just wondering, what's the best thing someone has said as far as feedback, like about your like best comment that you've received?
Hmm.
I would imagine you get good feedback.
He has great testimonials. I saw from
Yeah.
very people very high up giving him very amazing testimonials. That's impressive, Josiah.
Yeah, I remember my actual favorite author. They do this thing where they nominate like a demigod of the week because their thing is because they write books about like demigods, and so I was actually featured as one of the demigods of the week. So that was really cool.
Whoa, not bad.
Yeah.
That's
What was it
pretty
like
impressive.
being on M Live and being interviewed for that?
That was also really cool. That was actually like my first interview that I ever did. So I was at first really nervous, but it was a good interview.
You don't seem nervous at all to me. In fact, you look like you're having a good time. You have fun. You're a natural.
Yeah. For those that are unaware, M Live is a website, is a news outlet website in the state of Michigan. It has pretty much everything. So it is basically like being in the newspaper 20 years ago. And his feature was incredible. Is your dad is he gonna pop on to say hello? There he is.
Hello, Dad.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Doing great, sir. Your son is doing amazing things, and I'm so happy that you were able to get him to be a part of our show tonight.
Thank you for that. What an inspiration.
Thank you. We really love you and appreciate you all having him on the show, and I'm so glad that he was able to join you all tonight, even though there's like a tsunami outside right now here in Ypsilanti.
Yes, that is true. We were a little worried about our director Danny getting on the show on time because it was quite a bit of water coming out of the sky for a little while.
It was the craziest drive home I've ever had. It was like I couldn't see anything, but I made it because I'm a whiz. Yeah, Josiah, you're a heck of a guy, by the way. I'm very impressed. You're inspiring many, so keep doing that because people will always ask people like Lawton and I that are in the media business what to do to get a career and get involved. And I always tell them get whatever experience you can, and you're half and a third of the age of most people, and you're already doing more than a lot of these kids have done. So keep it up. Keep it up, Josiah. You're the truth.
Thank you.
One of our
question for him. Yeah, we have a question.
Yes, does Josiah have a favorite podcast? So what's your favorite one you listen to other than your dad's Fatherhood Rocks?
I don't really listen to other podcasts that much, but I remember one that I used to listen to. It was called 6 Minutes, and I really liked that podcast.
Very cool. One of our other viewers said, "What's your favorite book?"
Well, I don't actually have a favorite book because there's just so many good books out there, but I do have a favorite book series.
Oh, what is
it? My favorite book series is the Wings of Fire series.
See, I was wrong. My guess was War and Peace. I really thought he was going that direction. I blew it.
I didn't see that. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Well, Josiah, we really appreciate you coming on the show tonight, and keep doing what you're doing. You can check Josiah's podcast out on www.keithpauljason.com/RBWJ. Read books with Josiah. Very inspirational young man. Keep doing what you're doing. It's going great.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh.
What a great kid, right?
Yeah. Melted my heart. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Can you imagine what he's capable of doing at that 10 years old? He's already doing interviews. Wow.
Listen, this young generation is very smart, especially with a lot of technical equipment. I always say my 7-year-old son can get on Zoom and have no problem. He has no.
Oh yeah, you told me he teaches you everything you know.
I'm like, I
wonder when I could get some time with him so I could learn some editing skills.
Yeah, but that's great. Danny made a really good point about getting into business young, because a lot of us are still, doing things as many things we can to get by in broadcasting, and to have that that start that young with the equipment and the microphone and learning all those small things that really make a difference. Very good. Yeah. Craig says Josiah is so composed. And Pam says, great job. He is. He's definitely on the right track. He's
comfortable.
You're going to hear him on your radio soon in the next 10 years, probably.
Oh my gosh. I could spend all night with these guests as always. But I know we got the summertime here and everybody's, enjoying the summer. I know you had that wonderful trip to Disney World.
I did. And I know Danny's got some of my photos. It was my first trip to Disney. So I had never been. My oldest daughter had been on a class trip to one of the parks. So you see the family right there. And it was really our first time the family got a chance to go on a vacation. Savannah's my oldest daughter. She's in school. She's a junior in college. And all my kids are spaced out about 4 to 5 years in age. So sometimes it's really hard to get them all together. And
I don't know how you do it, Lutton. You don't sleep. I know this already. But,
we had an exceptional time. I would tell anyone that has never not been to Disney yet.
Mm-hmm.
I would tell you the rumors are true. It is pretty expensive to go. We saved for a number of years to make sure we can make that trip happen. But I will say it was worth every penny. Memories created that I'll never forget. We had such a great time. And there was a lot of stuff that we didn't have a chance to do. So we've even talked about going back in a couple of years. And you're seeing some of the photos now, Walt Disney, definitely a visionary. And just, there's the place is just magical. I can't explain it. We had a chance to go to Magic Kingdom on the third day that we were there. And let me tell you, the fireworks display at the very end of the night, you can see all the Disney stars.
Exactly. It's adult Disney. We have
adult
a question.
Disney, let me tell you, adult Disney is grown folks acting like kids. That's what it is. That's the best thing in the world.
That's me every day.
Eric asked the favorite ride. So my favorite ride at Disney was the Rip Roar Rocket the Rock and Roller Coaster that was at Hollywood Studios.
Gotcha.
That was my favorite ride there. That's if you watch it on YouTube, it just takes off very fast. You can see there I was a little nervous. That's actually the ride. My face is imploding. We all love that ride. That was good. We also had a chance to go to Universal Studios early in the game as well. And I rode the Rip Roar Rocket there. I didn't even get a chance to ride the Jurassic Park ride or the Hulk that everyone told me was great. But the Rip Roar Rocket was probably the biggest adrenaline rush that I've had. I also rode, Eric said about the Haunted Mansion. I also rode that. I'm not real big on the demon drop, those rides that drop you. And I almost forgot. We had my kids had never seen the ocean.
Are you serious? Really?
Many of them had never been there. So we took them to Cocoa Beach.
I grew up in Jersey, so that's like amazing.
Oh yeah, it's just right there. The shore's right there. But it was pretty fascinating. And Broderick loves his big sister, that's for sure. So
it was a good time. You, Lutton. Of course, you didn't have me pestering you every day with questions, but
no, one of those bucket list things I've always wanted to do for the kids, and I'm so glad we had a chance to do it. And again, we've talked about going back. There was a couple places that we didn't have a chance to go. Epcot Center we didn't go to. Animal Kingdom is really fun too. I don't mind going to the zoo, but when they take you on the safari there and you can see the giraffes and the elephants and everything kind of in their element, that's really cool as well. So
I love animals. We got to have more animals on the show somehow. Incorporate that. We just, all of the artistic inspiration, travel's a great topic. So we want to see more of that too, for sure. But I'm so happy you got to take that much needed vacation. You deserve it, buddy.
Very unplugged, very unplugged too. I didn't bring my work laptop for the first time. And for those that know me truly have known me a long time, I don't sit for very long. I feel like I've always got something going on, but
yeah, I know.
It was really nice to decompress for 8 days. And of course now we're back to hosting shows and back to work. So
we got some exciting things, coming up. But I know Dan's always traveling around the world. That guy. Dan is everywhere. He's got the best Facebook. I mean, it's just you guys make me feel like I'm just an introvert compared to
you only live twice. You got to get out there, man.
Yes, Dan also has his golf show. He's had some really good things happen lately with some broadcasting ventures that he's doing. So he's definitely, if you thought he was busy now, he'll get more busy down the line.
Can't wait to see what's coming.
It's pretty awesome. Well, we will would love to let everyone know to please share our episode from our YouTube page. Like us on Facebook, the Hey That's Easy page. You can search it. Watch out for new episodes in the coming months. To all of our viewers, supporters, and guests, we sincerely thank you greatly. For Ava, I'm Lawton. Thanks again so much for watching Hey That's Easy.